Hey, what's good, family? This is Ryan Jackson from Ryan Jackson LLC. Hope you're all having a blessed and wonderful day. Hope you had a blessed and wonderful weekend and a blessed and wonderful Monday as well, which is just, I'm not talking about Monday. Today, Wednesday, Lord have mercy, middle of the week. So I hope you had a blessed and wonderful Monday and Tuesday. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Middle of the week, we made it. We halfway there. I'm thinking today Tuesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. Oh, senior moment there, so please forgive me. Please bear with your brother. But in any event, I hope you had a blessed and wonderful weekend and a blessed and wonderful Monday and Tuesday. And the likelihood that you're having a rough day, always remember this: tough times don't last, tough people do. Keep your hope and trust and faith in Allah, God, and He will see you through. Thank you, brother Steph, for tuning in, and brother Will. Salute to you both. Thank you, brothers, for tuning in. So, I believe it was on Fox and Friends. I don't know if it was a couple of days ago or yesterday, but Trump said that if he's elected, that he plans on getting rid of the Department of Education. He plans on getting rid of it. Don't see a problem with that. Um, I read an article the other, what was it, Monday, that said children in Baltimore public schools can't read at their grade level or do math at their grade level. They're just passing kids through, letting them fall through the cracks. Letting them fall through the cracks. In Baltimore public schools, children are not reading at a grade or doing math at a grade level. Now, mind you, it's not just Baltimore. It's Detroit public schools, Chicago public schools, which the article said in Chicago, they can't read or do math at a grade level. I said Detroit, Chicago, Philly. They're planning on closing schools in San Francisco, public schools in San Francisco. They plan on closing them. They closed public schools in Chicago and Detroit, and I believe Philly too. But the public school system is failing our children. And this isn't a slight on the teachers or the principals. My wife is a principal in the public school system in Oakland. My wife, that's right, she's a principal at a public school, at a public middle school in Oakland. So this isn't toward them or the teachers. It's against the system. Because let's be real. The public school system, the Department of Education, they not supporting the principals, they're not supporting the teachers, the ones who are doing the groundwork, the ones who are spending time with these children day in and day out, more so than some of their parents. They're the ones that's on the front lines. They're not getting the support of the school board, of the system, which is the Department of Education. With that being said, it needs to be closed. Off with their head. That's the Department of Education. And we know the Department of Education was started by Jimmy Carter in the 1970s, but it's failed. Like my brother Steph said, school systems today ain't shit. They wasn't shit when I was in school. Yeah. They're even worse now. And again, this isn't a slight to the educators because you have teachers who care about educating these babies. They care about spending the time with these children. They care about it. They care. They actually give a damn. You have the principals who care about their teachers and support their teachers, who support these children. You like my wife. You have people like that who care. but they're not getting the support of the school board. They're not getting the support of the public school system, which all falls under the umbrella of the Department of Education. They don't want to pay teachers nothing, principals, anything, principals either. You don't want to pay them, our educators. You don't want to pay them, but then want to look at them and say, well, it's your fault that little Johnny or little Sally can't read. No, it's not. Education begins at home. It don't begin at school. It begins at home. The parents are the first teachers of that child, particularly the mother. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that the mother is the first teacher of the child. The mother. The food that, oh God. Oh, don't get me started on the food. Yeah. Ugh. But before I go any further, hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button down, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications. I want to do videos on here. I want to read y'all an excerpt of this book by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It was published in 1993, 31 years ago. Y'all see that? A Torchlight for America, Minister Louis Farrakhan. I want to read this book, read a little part of this book from you, to you, I should say. Page 45. And it talks about this very thing that I'm speaking of. Chapter 4, Fixing the Public School System. Now, mind you, this was published in 1993. By all measures, literacy, the dropout rate, test scores, plans to attend college, and the cultivation of truth and principles among today's youth, the school system has failed. This is in 1993. It's hard to understand how my generation, born in the 30s and 40s, was at least able to read and write. Yet America has made so many advances in the society since then, but today's generation is less able to read and write than mine. As mentioned earlier, it is estimated that from 10% to 20% of Americans are functionally illiterate. The public schools can't keep our youth in the classrooms long enough to make them literate. The high school dropout rate has reached 30%, and of those who return, only 80% of 19 to 20-year-olds gain their high school diploma. Today's students cannot point out on a map the countries that are in the news shaping the course of world affairs. Many of today's youth cannot read well enough to perform the basic functions of entry-level jobs. This is a pluralistic society, yet the people have no knowledge of each other or even of themselves, except for the folklore promoted by and about white people, such as Columbus sailed the ocean blue in the year 1492 and discovered America, and that George Washington never told a lie. The minister go on to say, education is vital to teach individuals life choices and the quality of the society as a whole. There's a direct relationship between having a high school diploma and one's ability to get a job and to secure one's to secure one's future financially. A young adult between the ages of 25 and 34 is more than 2 to 5 times more likely to be unemployed if he or she does not have a high school diploma. This means that if young adults do not at least gain a high school diploma, his or her chances for surviving in the society are severely crippled. I'm going to end right there. I was reading from This book here, A Torchlight for America, by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And now, mind you, this was published in 1993, 31 years ago. This is before AI. And by AI, I mean artificial intelligence, not Allen Iverson. This is before artificial intelligence. So today, a high school diploma, even if you do have a high school diploma, it really doesn't mean much. Even if you have an associate's or bachelor's degree, it all depends on what you have it in. And even that won't guarantee you a job because you guess what? Yes, you may have an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's. It's not in this, it's in this field of study, but we cannot hire you because you don't have any experience. Even if you have a college degree, you're not guaranteed a job. It used to be you got a college degree or a high school diploma at the very least, but a college degree, you were guaranteed to be in like Flynn. Now, there are many people in the unemployment line who have college degrees. Let me repeat that again. There are many people in the unemployment line who have college degrees. Am I right or am I absolutely right? I've met plenty of people who have um, bachelor's and master's degrees with me in the unemployment line. They couldn't find a job in their respective fields. Why? Because they did not have the experience. Even though they learned from a book for X amount number of years about the field of study where they want to make a living, they did not have the work experience, the on-the-job training. Oh, you say, what about internships? I'm glad you asked that question. Internships. Guess what? You could have an internship, but you're not paid for them. Companies do not pay interns. I'm going to repeat that again. A lot of these companies do not pay interns. Internships are not paid. You're just there to be a slacky, to follow people around, but it's not paid. A lot of companies do not pay interns. This is why a lot of people don't do internships because it's not paid. They have to pay the bills. They still have to make rent. It's a dog eat dog world out here, y'all. It's worse than when I was coming up. When this book was published, I was a junior in high school. Yep. I was a junior in high school. 1993. 1993, this is before the onslaught of the internet. 93, you still had typewriters. I'm old enough to remember that. I was in high school when this book was published. Again, I was a junior, either a junior or senior in high school, depending on what time frame we're talking. My junior year. Back then, or at that time, you could drop out of high school. Wasn't the best decision you could make, but you could get a job at McDonald's, at fast food, as a mechanic shop, working for a mechanic, doing that. But now you can't even get a job at McDonald's or Burger King without a high school diploma. You cannot. They require you to have a high school diploma at the very least to flip burgers. Many of our schools look like mini prisons. Have you seen some of these schools? Elementary, middle school, high schools. They have they look like prisons. You look at the windows, you look at them, you walk inside of them, you have metal detectors. These schools look like mini prisons, which is the beginning process of the school to prison pipeline. I'm sure Jimmy Carter have good intentions when he started the Department of Education. I'm sure he did, but I'm sure that he never would have imagined that schools would be turned into mini prisons and would be the beginning process of the school to prison pipeline. A good brother of mine said yesterday to me, a good brother of mine, shout out to him. He said, they're closing schools and opening up prisons. Let me repeat that again. They're closing schools and opening up more prisons. So you drop out of school, you graduate to prison. You drop out of school, you graduate to prison. And we wonder why our children can't are performing are failing in their performance in school. They're not learning anything. You have some great teachers out there who actually give a goddamn. Some principals out there who give a goddamn. But you have those who don't. They come from the suburbs and they're talking at our children. They want to put our young boys in these special classes. Tell them that they have a learning disability. No, they don't have a learning disability. You can't, you can't garner their attention. They're not interested in what you're teaching. You have to teach at their level. Not every child learned at the same level. I know that I didn't. It's particularly in mathematics. It took me longer to learn mathematics than it did the other children. So by that token, if a child was coming up like I was and they struggle in mathematics, they have a learning disability. They love to diagnose young black males with having a learning disability. They love diagnosing our young black boys as problem children, out of control, uh, just out of control savages. I've seen it. I was that child. I wasn't told I had a learning disability, but I was treated like I was a savage. This is why the most honorable Elijah Muhammad told us to teach our own children. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad told us this decades ago. We are the teachers of our children. Teach our own children. Trump says he wants to close the Department of Education. Close it, baby. Close it. I have no problem with that. Schools are failing. Kids are just being passed on like their numbers. I told my cousin this a couple of days ago because he worked in the Detroit public schools and then he moved to Charlotte, North Carolina and worked in the Charlotte public schools. He still working in public schools down there. I told my cousin this. I said the only thing these public school systems care about are enrollment. They care about enrollment. That's all they're concerned with. How many students are enrolled for this school year? Because the number of students, the more students that are enrolled, the more money they get, the more funding they get. The more students that they have enrolled in the school year, the more funding they get. What do they do with that money? God knows what. But they get these few dollars for the amount of bodies that go into a building. Never mind if they're learning anything. Never mind if they're not eating the right foods. They're getting abused at home. They're malnourished. They're getting mistreated at school. Never mind any of that. We just want to know how many bodies are filling these classrooms, how many bodies are coming through these school doors each year. We have to get our funding to misappropriate these funds. Am I right or am I absolutely right? Is what I'm saying making sense? It's crazy out here. Before I go any further, I want to shout out a business. So just bear with me. I want to shut this business out. I told him I would. So just bear with me. Okay, there we go. I told him it's a lady that I work with. This is her and her daughter's business. Well, her business. So I told him, I promised him I was going to shout him out. So there it is. So people in the Bay Area, in Pittsburgh, support AWB Hauling LLC. A as in Alpha, W as in Whiskey, B as in Bravo, Hauling LLC in Pittsburgh, California. All right. Back to regular scheduled programming. But yeah, so they just want this funding to see how many bodies come through these school doors. Never mind supporting the teachers, giving them the supplies they need: paper, pencils, pens, folders. I know teachers who have to use their own money to pay for supplies. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. I know teachers personally who have to use their personal funds to purchase school supplies, dip into their own savings. But never mind that. We just want to see how many bodies come through the doors, how many bodies are in the classroom to get our funding from the Department of Education, which is a joke and a disaster. So, yeah, Trump, close the Department of Education. I know people are going to disagree with me on this and fight me on this, and so be it. My beef is not with the teachers. Some of them, yeah. Some of the principals, yeah. But for the most part, no. Our teachers and principals, they need the support. The principal, the assistant principal, the school faculty, the secretary, the nurses, all of them, they need our support. The teachers, those who are doing the right thing, trying to educate these children the best way they know how. They need our support. My beef is with the whole system. Tear that baby down. Close it. Close it. So Trump, yes, I agree with him on this. Kids cannot read at a it's how can we be how can we call ourselves the greatest superpower on the planet when our children can't even read or do math at a grade level? How can we sit up here and say that we're the greatest nation on this planet when our kids don't even have a high school diploma? This should be a national crisis. They say the children are the future. I know they may sound cliches, but it's true. And if the children are the future, wouldn't you want to secure the future and protect that future to make sure that future is successful? If the children aren't graduating or are just getting by, can't read or write, their future is looking pretty bleak. Their future is not looking bright. And we wonder why these kids are the way they are. And you can't blame the schools because it starts at home. A brother said parents aren't being held accountable. They're not. They're not being held accountable. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said something about how these schools like to diagnose little black boys as being having learning disabilities, and putting them on this kind of medicine or drugging them up. He said no. He said these young boys are smart. He said put a game in front of them. Put a game in front of that young boy that you call uh, a savage, having a learning disability, dumb. Put a game in front of him. Watch how he play that game. Put a phone in front of him. Put him on this computer, an iPad, any any technical device. Watch how he operates it. These children are not slow. Yes, you have to hold their attention, but that's with any child. I was the same way. Brother said they tried to put him on Ritalin. I don't blame your mother. She was right. This goes to what the minister was speaking to. They always want to drug our young boys up, make them drug addicts. Then when they act out, then you want to send them to prison. I'm telling you, it's done by design. And I really think in my heart of hearts that the Department of Education and the Bureau of Prisons are in cahoots with each other. I'm going to say that again. I really believe in my heart of hearts that the Department of Education and the Bureau of Prisons are in cahoots with each other. Because as soon as a child acts up in school, they no longer call the parents, they call the law. I hear about it constantly. They call the law. Lock him up. Lock him up. Give him a record. Ruining his chances. Nas did a song on the Lost Tapes that came out in 2002. It was a series of songs that Nas had recorded over the years, but the album, the Lost Tapes, came out in 2002, and he had this song called Black Zombies. Great song. It's one of my favorite songs by Nas. Great, check it out. It's on the Lost Tapes. Lost Tapes came out, late 2002. It came out during the time of God's Son, and he had a song called Black Zombies, and it speaks to what I'm talking to. It speaks to what I'm talking to in this video. Love that song, Brother Will. Yup, Nas is one of my favorite artists too. Nas is a hip hop god. He's in my top 5. Yup, I said it. Nasir Jones, aka Nas, Nasty Nas, is a hip hop god. He's in my top 5 easily. But Black Zombies, great song. Speaks what I'm talking to. And that was 22 years ago. So it's gotten worse. This book was published in 1993. I was 17 years old in 93. 17 years old in 93. So 31 years ago, that book was published. Has it gotten better or worse? I'm asking you, has it gotten better or worse? It's gotten worse. Thank you, Brother Will. It's gotten worse. Gotten a lot worse. When I was in school, we didn't have to worry about going to school and being shot at. Am I gonna make it to see another day? Someone gonna get mad and shoot me in school? The only thing we worried about was getting jumped, get into a fight, and 5 or 6 people jumping on you. Exactly. It's gotten way worse, and it's done by design. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, and all these piss poor performing schools are in black neighborhoods, in the hoods of Baltimore, Baltimore City, Washington D.C., Philadelphia, Detroit, Chicago, L.A., San Francisco, Oakland, Houston, Atlanta, Milwaukee, so on and so forth. That's where all these poor performing schools are. You notice that all these poor performing schools are in predominantly black neighborhoods. Have y'all noticed that? Like my brother said, it's done by design. It's done by design. No coincidence. Only people made money out of front. Yeah, it's sad. School to prison to the funeral home pipeline. We could say that. School to prison to the funeral home, or school to the funeral home. Because if it's sad to say, but if a lot of these our young people aren't going to prison, they're going to the funeral home. They're going to the grave. It's either the school to prison pipeline or school to the funeral home pipeline. We got to put that in there. Good point. Excellent point. Either way, it's a dead end. Either way, prison, dead end. The grave, you ain't coming back. That's a dead end. At least in prison, you can educate yourself and come out, you know, some come out reformed and learning their lesson, hopefully. But when you're dead, that's it. That you're gone. There definitely are. I could speak to Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, because I know, I knew people who went to school in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, and they had the greatest of education. My mom could speak to it. I have an aunt that lives in Bloomfield Hills, so I'm very familiar with with what you're saying there with Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. That's an affluent suburb of Detroit. Dead Wings players. That's funny. But yeah, so yeah, it's just you close it. Why is it still being funded? Didn't they say, I know in Detroit when they was wanted to build the casinos and a lot of other places, they said that when you support lottery, it helps the schools. Has it been helping the schools? Has it? Are shorties reading at a grade level, doing math at a grade level? All this money that's been poured into the Department of Education to help these schools, and the students are doing worse now than they ever have done before. Why keep it open? It makes no sense. It's been a disaster. Why keep funding this disaster? Why? Yes, it may have been started on good intentions, but you know what they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. I'm gonna land my plane there. Hit this thumbs up button, hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button now. Hit that subscribe button so you get notifications whenever I do videos on here. Share this video. Share it, share it, share it, share it, share it. Let's have the conversation. Drop your comments below. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear them. Please give me 1 second. My apologies. But yeah, hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button on, hit that subscribe button, drop your comments below, let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And let's have the conversation. Please, let's have the conversation. Share this video. Share it, share it, share it. Share it as many times as you want. Keep sharing it. Keep sharing it. We don't have to agree, but let's agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Let's agree to disagree without being disagreeable, especially on topics such as this. And in our disagreements, let's use logic, respect, and facts, not emotion and disrespect. Never that. We don't do that here. So, subscribe to my channel, support my YouTube channel, support my future projects. I'm working on some things financially, so please bear with your brother and support my future projects, but continue to support my YouTube channel here. So subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Won't cost you a thing. Help your brother out. Please continue your love and support. Y'all be safe out here. Be safe. Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy now more than ever before. So whether you're going to work, coming home from work, dropping your children off at school, picking them up, running errands, whatever the case may be safe, beware, and be aware. I love y'all immensely. Continue to support me, and just take care. And let's help our children. We have to educate our children because the education of our children starts at home, not when we send them off to school. It starts in the home. Read with them, do math with them, read books with them. That's another thing I was concerned with the libraries. Do anyone goes to public libraries anymore? We stayed at the public libraries because we had to check our books for a book report or whatever. But we went to the libraries. Do any of these children go to public libraries anymore? That's another thing that's concerning. So read with your children, do math with them, cut that TV off. If they could learn about football and basketball, they could learn about math, science, and English, and history, world history. Not what that man teach, but what we teach, the truth. On that note, I am gonna hop off of here. I just want to get that off my chest. But love y'all. Take care. Continue to support your brother. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day. I love y'all. Assalamu alaikum.